The beauty of the Nazca Lines is breathtaking. These 13-inch deep grooves were carved into the desert sands by an unknown culture some 1,500 years ago in southern Peru. Over 2,000 lines have been found with over 70,000 geometrical shapes. One researcher estimated that there are more than 800 individual designs that have been categorized into 14 different groups. The vast majority of these lines are incredibly difficult to see from the ground due to their size and the lack of elevation changes across the landscape. But when viewed from above, the lines become visible. This makes the Nazca Lines one of the world's largest and most unusual examples of prehistoric art. But who created these strange lines, and what were they trying to accomplish? Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to take a look at the Nazca Lines. What exactly are the Nazca Lines? When was it drew and was the main purpose? Who were the people that drew the Nazca Lines, and how long did it took them to finish it? Let's dive in. The Nazca geoglyphs are located on the Nazca Plains in southern Peru, about 400 miles southwest of Lima. They consist of figures and lines etched into the desert surface, the majority of which cannot be seen or appreciated in their entirety from the ground level. The largest grouping of the lines is situated within a 500 square mile zone, although similar lines have been found throughout the surrounding region. The largest and most well-known of these designs include monkeys, lizards, spiders, fish, hummingbirds, snakes, a condor, a snail, a parrot, and a dog. These zoomorphic designs are thought to represent animals held sacred by the Nazca people, while other figures may depict early Nazca rulers. There are also a number of geometric designs scattered among the lines, including spirals, trapezoids, triangles, and rectangles. Many researchers believe that these may have served as markers for astronomical events, such as solstices and equinoxes. In addition to this, many of the lines appear to stretch out towards various mountain ranges and peaks. Some have even suggested that the entire network of lines could have functioned as a type of ancient map. While the Nazca Lines have been known for thousands of years, they were only brought to worldwide attention in 1927 after a local Peruvian farmer stumbled upon a previously hidden line while his llamas got stuck in the grooves. Over the next several decades, the Peruvian government worked with archaeologists to further explore the site. Between 1940 and 1943, the archaeologist Toribio Mejia Zespe discovered 13 sites containing Nazca geoglyphs. However, the full extent of the lines remained unknown until 1964, when the Peruvian archaeologist Waldemar Espinoza Chapoval uncovered two previously hidden figures, a monkey and a lizard, bringing the total number of identified designs to 800. In 1994, the Nazca Lines were declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now we know what they are and where they are. Let's try to find out when exactly they were drawn and what was the main purpose. Unfortunately, because the Nazca people left no written records behind, dating the lines is inherently difficult. Most of our understanding of their chronology comes from ceramics and other artifacts found at nearby Nazca settlements. Carbon dating of materials found near the lines places their creation sometime between 500 BC and 500 AD. Archaeologists studying nearby settlements have divided Nazca prehistory into three periods based on the styles of pottery found at each site. The earliest Nazca period dates from around 100 BC to 100 AD and is marked by simple polychrome vessels decorated with stamped and incised geometric patterns. During the second period, lasting from around 100 to 500 AD, Nazca settlements grew increasingly large and complex. Pottery from this time reflects the region's growing population and the emergence of social hierarchy. During the third and final period, beginning around 500 AD, Nazca populations began to decline as the result of civil war, severe droughts, and epidemics brought by the Spanish conquistadors. It's unclear whether the Nazca Lines were created before, during, or after these three periods, and debate continues among scholars regarding their age and purpose. The majority view among researchers is that the Nazca geoglyphs were used as part of religious ceremonies. This interpretation is supported by the fact that many of the designs depict animals believed to have been sacred by the Nazca people. For example, the Nazca culture venerated the hummingbird as a symbol of fertility, while the condor, representing the upper world, was seen as a link between humans and the gods. Other scholars have argued that the Nazca Lines functioned as burial grounds, with certain designs marking the location of important tombs. It's possible, however, that both explanations are correct. But now let's talk about who drew the Nazca Lines. The Nazca Lines were etched into the desert sands by the Nazca people, a society known for its elaborate textiles, distinctive pottery, and monumental earthworks. Little is known about the Nazca people because they left behind no written records and very few pieces of artwork. Their society was small and relatively isolated, and they had no monumental architecture, such as pyramids, to distinguish them from other Andean cultures. Because of this, most of what we know about the Nazca people has come from archaeological finds at their settlements and cemeteries. As mentioned earlier, the Nazca inhabited what is now southern Peru between roughly 100 BC and 800 AD. At their peak, an estimated 200,000 to 300,000 people lived within the Nazca cultural area. But because the Nazca people were never unified into a single empire, scholars consider them a cultural rather than a political entity. The Nazca were organized into independent chiefdoms, each ruled by a hereditary nobility who held political power and wealth. The Nazca were also highly stratified, with commoners forming the majority of the population. What made the Nazca stand out among their contemporaries was their incredible textiles, which often depicted supernatural beings, geometric patterns, and recognizable animals. Nazca weavers produced finely woven fabrics using a technique called the double-sided tapestry weave. This technique allowed them to produce brightly colored textiles with intricate designs that were instantly reversible, making it possible to change the pattern simply by turning the cloth over. The Nazca were also master potters, producing a variety of ceramic vessels, including spherical jars, tall cylindrical bottles, and open bowls. While Nazca pottery typically depicts simple geometric patterns, some pieces show evidence of being used in ritualistic funerary practices. Nazca settlements themselves were generally small and lacked monumental architecture. Most structures were made of perishable materials, such as mud brick and wood, so little remains of them today. Nazca settlements were usually situated near underground or subterranean kivas, which were used for ceremonial purposes. These kivas consisted of a round pit lined with stones or adobe, covered with a flat roof made of packed earth or stone, and accessed through a doorway at the top. Many of these kivas were painted with colorful geometric patterns and zoomorphic designs. Others were decorated with human figures, either emerging from or transforming into the animals. Scholars believe that these kivas were used for divination rituals, religious ceremonies, and possibly as burial grounds. The Nazca people were also skilled astronomers and used the stars to track time and predict seasonal changes. Nazca elites likely used this knowledge to maintain their power and influence over the general population. As mentioned earlier, it's possible that some of the geoglyphs functioned as astronomical markers, indicating significant solstices or equinoxes. But we can't say this for sure. So let's get back to the question, how long did it take them to finish it? Given the number of lines and shapes found throughout the Nazca Plains, it's clear that the Nazca people spent a great deal of time and effort creating these geoglyphs. But unfortunately, we don't have any solid data to estimate how long it took to draw the lines. However, we do know that the Nazca lines weren't created all at once. Instead, the lines were drawn and redrawn over a period of centuries. This process would have been labor-intensive and required the coordination of many people working over long periods of time. Each design was carefully planned and executed with precision, using tools such as string, measuring rods, and plummets. The Nazca people likely used a combination of stakes, ropes, and animal skins to define the boundaries of each shape. Once the perimeter was established, the Nazca then removed the surface layer of rocks and pebbles to reveal the lighter-colored sand beneath. This process of removing the dark surface material would have been physically demanding and time-consuming. In order to keep the lines straight and true, the Nazca would have needed to use sophisticated surveying techniques. By tying knots in ropes at specific intervals, they could ensure that each line segment remained parallel to the others. Using this method, the Nazca could have easily created long, straight lines without the aid of any modern technology. Another important aspect of creating the Nazca Lines was selecting the right location. The Nazca people chose areas with minimal vegetation to prevent the lines from being obscured by plants or other natural growth. They also avoided locations with steep slopes or uneven terrain to ensure that the lines remained level and visible from the air. Finally, the Nazca people likely used a combination of teamwork and specialized labor to complete the lines. Teams of workers may have been assigned to specific sections of the lines, with each team responsible for maintaining and repairing their assigned segments. This approach would have ensured that the lines remained visible and accurately represented the intended designs. In conclusion, the Nazca Lines are a testament to the ingenuity and dedication of the Nazca people. These massive geoglyphs are not only beautiful works of art, but also a reminder of a lost civilization that thrived in South America. Although many questions remain about their age and purpose, the Nazca Lines continue to fascinate researchers and visitors alike. Thank you for watching.